Hello, Karu and Nikki. It is Thursday morning, about 10 after 8 o'clock, and we are leaving to catch our plane in about half an hour. But I wanted to tell a quick story because I watched Nikki's 4-minute, 7-minute story about a spot just north of Colton, Washington. And I have actually a story that's a little bit that deals with the same part of the world. So I'm going to see if I can get through this really quick, though I've already killed a minute. So what happened was, when Sarah and I went to Belize, we came back and I was looking for work, and I got a job with the Nez Perce tribe working down in Lapway, Idaho. And we were living in Pullman. We were living with Beth and Karu, and then we had a duplex after that. And I would commute down every day, down that same road you were talking about, through Colton and Union, I think, and down into all the way to Lapway and down the grade and back up the next day. And there was a guy down there, and I cannot remember his first name. Last name was Matthews, and I can't remember. It's a fairly common name, and he was a tribal member. And I used to ride up and down with him about 3 days a week. And he was a real character. He had all these cars. He had all these old beater cars that he used to drive down. So he'd look for an old beater car. And they were actually old beater cars that looked nice, kind of superficially, but weren't necessarily very reliable. And actually, I think Brad worked on his cars quite a bit. So anyway, I would ride down and back with him every day. And he loved to talk about disasters. So he would tell me about everyone who had died or who was going to die, or car accidents where they'd been and all this stuff. And the more gruesome, the better. So I always enjoyed my Julian Matthews, that was his name, Julian. I always enjoyed my rides with Julian. So at one point, so he would drive every other time. That's how carpooling usually works, isn't it? So I was driving. One day we got up, and the winter we were in Pullman was one of the worst or best winters, depending on how you rate it, in 10 years or something, 15 years. And they had tons of snow. And so one day we got up and we headed out of town, and it was snowing, and we're heading down that road. And you know how that road through the Palouse, it's fairly wide open and up high, and the wind blows. And we got, I don't know, like 2/3 of the way to Colton, and I had a little Subaru station wagon I was driving that day that had 4-wheel drive, and so I put it in 4-wheel drive because there were drifts over the road. And pretty soon it got so bad that we reached a point where I couldn't tell where the road went. And so I said to Julian, I'm like, I'm going to turn around and go back because I don't think, I'm worried we're not going to make it. And he was like, yeah, I'm cool with that. So I hooked a U-turn and managed not to put it in a ditch, and we went back. And the road, and we were going really slow trying to figure out where the road was. Not a single car on the road, the whole time. So right after we got out of Pullman, we saw a couple cars, and then nothing. So we get back to Pullman. It turns out they closed the road just after we went down there. So if we had in fact made it to Colton, they would have kept us there. So that's my story about that same stretch of road. I will make more videos as we're in Wales. I will try to upload them. I made it a little bit longer than 4 minutes, but still dead.